just trying to, figure out the best thing within, the changing situations that keep happening. So we did have a good week of tests, 100% on those, so we need to keep that up, including this weekend, and also, that they won't be leaving with, having practice and check-ins Friday and Sunday also. So hopefully that keeps us in a good COVID spot.
Start us off, David.
Lane, have you guys begun preparation for Mississippi State yet? And, I guess it's time to ask you, what you know about that rivalry and what you think about that rivalry.
We have started, much like, these three practices have been like what we would have been a bye. Yesterday was all good on good, no Mississippi State. Today was half and half, and tomorrow will be half and half. So similar to the same thing that we did for Vanderbilt. I know there's a lot of tradition in this rivalry, and not the friendliest of rivalries, I guess, is the best way of putting it. But they're all big games, especially when every game's SEC. So, it'd be really, really good to get back on the winning track of this game. A lot of times these affect recruiting. I don't think they, 100% kids go because the team wins or loses, but obviously it is good, and so it's just always awesome to win rivalry games for fans. So, they got a whole year of talking about it.
Parrish, go ahead.
Lane, as you mentioned, this hasn't been a friendly rivalry. It's been described in some circles as toxic. How much can a head coach dictate the feeling of a rivalry like that?
I think he probably can more with the players. I think if something's like this, good or bad, either way, I think it's kind of stuck like that. I've been in rivalries where they're much more friendly. USC, UCLA, with everybody working together in LA and all that. And this one's doesn't seem to be like that. So I think it's probably maybe different than before with the head coaches, that, don't really probably, I don't think either of us, build upon that, the hatred part of it and that thing. And, so I don't think that's really our style, but, at the same time, that's, for whatever reasons, that is what it is. So, we're not going to, discourage that or whatever, but that's just not really how we are.
What is your history with Mike Leach? I mean, did y'all cross paths at the same time in the pack? How do you know each other, I guess?
Well, we know each other from being out there. This will surprise nobody's researchers. I'm sure they have, but little known fact that the last time we played, you would think there would be a lot of points. Actually, we lost to him 10-7, and if I recall, threw a pick 6 in the game. So we only scored 7, and they only scored 3 on offense, which probably would surprise people. But and that game didn't help my longevity of my career at USC. I think that was 2 games before I got fired, so that didn't go over real well in the Coliseum, losing to Washington State. So it's our turn to win.
Go to Nick.
Lane, with the scrimmage this weekend, is the goal more to get the guys who are usually playing just the reps they would normally get, or are you going to use this to try and evaluate some of the talent you don't get to see on a weekly basis?
It's not going to be a scrimmage like that. It's going to be much more like a practice. I'm just concerned more about play counts and GPS numbers, being similar to a game. So it's like we played a game without the wear and tear of the tackling part of it. So, what we'll probably do is, we're just making this up on the fly because we've never dealt with situations like this, is, outside of the 1s and 2s that play a high play count in the practice, then we'll run the other guys to try to simulate some mileage.
The guys who missed last weekend, Mingo and Jalen Jordan and Katie Hill, do you have updates on those guys?
It's going to be like always. We hope they play. So I do think we didn't talk much about that. 13 stepping up and really, I don't know that I would have guessed we would have thrown for the most yards in the history of the school, without number one out there. So really cool, to see someone else step up like that.
Back to David.
Lane, just in general, can you tell us how DeMarcus Thomas is doing?
Yeah, he is still not practicing. He is doing some workouts, but he is still not cleared for practice yet. But from a long-term health, all that stuff, it's great. I think it's just more of a protocol similar to concussion.
Back to Parrish.
Do you have any feel right now, Lane? Have you had any conversations with seniors who could come back and take advantage of that extra year? Do you know how that's going to go for you?
I haven't done that yet. I've had our coaches do that just to kind of get a feel number-wise, and even, for senior day, they even, talk about what are we doing on that. So we'll ask them if they know they're coming back for sure, then they don't need to go. If they know they're going out for sure, they need to go out there. And then if they're in between, they probably should go out. So I don't know those numbers. We'll figure that out right after the season. But, and I think what you're going to see is some that are in the middle maybe test waters with transferring and all that. And so who knows? And then I heard maybe now they're not going to be able to do one time until later on. They're not going to be able to do that in December, January. So I'm not sure where that is.